All right, what's up, guys? This is the first episode of Within the Rep. Today's episode is going to be pretty special because I've got my wife on with me, Sanda. We've been together 5 years this coming May. We got married last summer, fall. We traveled a lot together. We took our honeymoon to Mexico. We've been there 3 times. We've been to California once, and she's been with me through 2 bodybuilding shows, including one where we were actually prepped and competed together, which was pretty cool. So, yeah, here we are today. We're going to run it up. I just want to say this before we start. Sanda is the lock that keeps our family and house together. She's definitely the calm and cooled one in our relationship. She keeps everything together here. She sets a standard. She's the most caring, beautiful woman I know, and I don't say that lightly. She can be a bit private, so today we're not going to force anything, but we're going to do a little Q&A about how we met. Going to share about our relationship and what that looks like when it's not perfect. Sometimes things get a little crazy, sometimes life gets a little busy, but we've been together for 5 years. Things have been absolutely amazing. So yeah, let's get right into it here. So Sanda, maybe introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, what your hobbies are, what your interests are.
Yeah, so I'm Farron's wife, Sanda Brown. I got into bodybuilding around 2011, been in the gym since then, never competed up until 2024 when Farron inspired me to step on stage for the first time. We actually prepped together. Um, so that was fun. I thought I was going to be doing it by myself, but then he jumped in a few months in. He said he's going to prep with me. So that was a super fun experience. I'm currently not competing at the moment. I've just taken a step back. I'm not sure if I ever will again, but bodybuilding's still a part of my life. I still support Farron through his bodybuilding journey, and I look forward to see what he's going to do in the future with bodybuilding. So currently, I am just kind of living life, exploring different hobbies. I've gotten into gaming. I'm a streamer now, so that's been interesting. But yeah, I'm just here for the ride. So that's it.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, she's a big streamer, so if you play Warzone, she's gonna absolutely smoke you. But let's get right into it. We'll get into the fun questions, a little bit of back and forth. So I'm going to ask Sanda a question and she's going to answer. Then I'll give my answer after. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of perspective into our relationship, kind of our trials and tribulations together, what we've been through together. And yeah, so let's run it up. So first question is, where were you at in life when we met and what were you coming out of? So coming out of being like any past relationships, any past like struggles, maybe leaving a job or anything like that.
Yeah, so I remember that time was around 2021. We met in May 2021, and the whole situation with the pandemic was happening. So that was interesting. I'm pretty sure we were wearing masks when we met. But yeah, I remember around that time I had been single for a while, since 2018, and I was loving it. I was enjoying the single life, just doing my thing. I had just come out of an injury that had occurred in 2020, summer 2020, and that brought me a lot of pain for 9 months. And then probably just before I met Farron, that's when things started getting better. I was feeling better. And yeah, Farron showed up at the gym one day and I was like, whoa, who's that? And we, that's how we met from at the gym. But yeah, I wasn't really looking for a relationship at the time. It just kind of happened naturally. He asked me to go get a muffin somewhere like 40 minutes from my house at like 5:30 a.m. one day. And I was like, no. So that didn't happen. But then we set up a date a few days later. So yeah, that's how we met and haven't looked back since.
Okay, so well, first thing I'm just gonna explain here is we're both in the same room, so I'm kind of shutting off my mic as she talks, and obviously vice versa, right? So kind of keep the little echo quality a little bit better here for you guys. So as she mentioned, yeah, when we met, it was I think yeah, it must have been around that crazy thing that happened in the world. So and yeah, I'll be honest with you guys, I was in prep at the time and yeah, my life was pretty crazy. So I was in prep at the time. So I hit this girl up and was like, yo, let's go for a muffin because I actually had a off-plan meal that day, which was an extra muffin. And I found this really good muffin spot in Brookswood here in Langley. So I was like, yo, come hit up the muffin place with me. But fortunately, she turned me down. So where I was at in life, man, this is crazy. I'll try and keep it short and sweet, but I just left a relationship of 10 years. I was moving out to Langley, kind of restarting my life, resetting up, got my own place, kind of started from square one again. And over time, just training with a few buddies at the gym. My good homie Carson, he hooked me up with a cookie, and these cookies were absolutely phenomenal. And then he mentioned like, yo, this girl's super cool, you should chat with her. So I'm like, yeah, I'll chat with her. So she makes good cookies and whatnot. So I hit her up in the DMs and yeah, I was like, yo, your cookies are amazing. Maybe I could get some more of those cookies. You know what I mean? So anyways, I offered her to go on the muffin date. Wasn't really cool on that. It was a little early, a little far, so that's fine. Totally cool. Understandable. So we went out for I think burgers or something. And yeah, we just hit it off really good and just continued to hang out, and she always was coming over like nonstop, and so it was good. It was really good. I was leaving like a super I was in a super emotional place in my life, just leaving a 10-year relationship. That was really tough for me. Unfortunately, I left my dog behind as well, who, as you can imagine, I very much loved. So it was a challenging time for me. I was alone for a bit of a period, just trying to get everything sorted out. I was also running OG Foods, the creamer rice company at the time, with a partner. So we were just maintaining that. Things were really popping off. So at the time as well, Sandra ran her cookie company. So that really intrigued me because she seemed motivated and had that entrepreneurship mindset. So that's why really drove me to reach out to her. She seemed really intelligent and not to mention very beautiful. So that's it for me. And let's get into the second question. So what was your first impression of me, Sandra?
Well, my first impression of you was you looked kind of scary. I'll be honest with you. Because well, the first time I ever seen you, you were in the gym and you were doing hack squats and you were in prep and you were tired and you were focused and locked in. And that was literally the first time I saw you when you were on the hack squat machine. I was like, damn, this guy looks scary. So I would say that was my first impression. But and when you messaged me on Instagram, I was like, oh, who is this? And I realized I was like, hey, this is the same guy that I seen on the hack squat like 2 days ago. So then obviously I didn't think you were scary after that, but that was my first impression.
Well, thank you. I get that quite often, actually. People say I have a very scary resting bitch face, but when I do smile, um, people tell me it seems to be very, it's like, so it's such a beautiful thing. So try and smile a little bit more for you guys, but nah, I don't know. I'm not grumpy or anything. If you ever see me around, come up, chat. I'm more than happy to shoot the shit. I'm a big teddy bear, as most of us guys in the gym tend to be. My first impression of Sanda, well, my first impression of Sanda was a taste of her cookie, and my goodness, it was absolutely delicious. I think it was a C-bomb cookie, and I must have made a reel about it. This was the first time I was competing as well. So in prep, taste buds are a little enhanced, so it was a really good cookie. And when I first saw it, when my homie's like, yo, you should hit this girl up, I checked her Instagram. I'm like, whoa, wee wah. This girl's really beautiful. So she's got skills and she's got good looks. And then, yeah, after talking to her, she's extremely intelligent. She's extremely supportive, extremely caring. So, I mean, that kind of says it all. Ooh, this is a good question. What was the first moment you felt safe with me, considering you said that your first impression of me, I was very scary?
Well, that's a kind of a hard question because I haven't really felt unsafe with you. Like, kind of going into the relationships, like, in terms of sharing my feelings and things like that, I never really felt unsafe to share my feelings, if that makes sense, just because I was already going into it thinking like, "Okay, like, I'm gonna be honest in this relationship, like, what is there really to lose?" kind of. I don't know, I guess, like, just us being at your home and just having conversations and like being able to talk about anything kind of like just built on that safeness, but I can't really say I felt unsafe with you ever. So,
Yeah, I would agree. Well, not totally, I guess. I would like to say I feel safe around most people. I'm very openly spoken person. I definitely speak what's on my mind. I'm not one to hold back. I typically like to think I tell people how I feel, but maybe that's not true. Maybe that's just something I tell myself. So if I really think about it, I guess the first moment I felt safe with Sanda was just really when she, showed me that she cared. Um, Despite us first meeting and me just leaving a relationship that was a long one, she always respected me. She always respected my boundaries. She always gave me space. Yeah, so I always felt safe with Sanda, and I think that's what made the relationship really easy. So, what did you want your life to look like back then, and where did you want it to go?
well, back then, honestly, it was a very different time. I had my own cookie business back then, so obviously I was working on that. I had been working on that since like 2019, end of 2019. I had been building the business, so it was around 2021, so I was still working really hard on the business. So obviously, I wanted that to grow. Um, that was back then, but right now I don't have that business anymore. But it's still kind of the same mindset where I'm trying to work for myself. Don't know how yet, but I still want to do something where I'm following my hobbies. Like I make a living out of doing what I love to do. So in that sense, that hasn't changed. Like back then I wanted to do it with the cookie business. Now I want to do it with streaming, maybe even get back to baking. I'm not quite sure yet, but I do know that I want to make a living from doing something that I love to do. Relationship wise, back then I wasn't really having any expectations at all. Like I said, I've been single for so long. I was just going into it wanting someone to be honest with me, someone that wasn't going to lie to me. So relationship wise, that's the only place I wanted that to go is I just wanted honesty from somebody that I was in a relationship with.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a lot in the same position with personal goals. I was, pursuing and growing OG foods. Unfortunately, that came to an end, but still today, I always push growth, whether that was when I was working in the construction industry. I mean, I was always looking to improve. I was always looking to move up, which I did progressively every year. So that's the same with my personal growth as well. Now inside Wisnowski Coaching, growing that, I've left my full-time job in construction, now full-time coaching. So absolutely stoked on that. Here we are running our first podcast up. It's going to be awesome. Got a bunch of guests coming on in the upcoming weeks. There's going to be lots in the future. So should be a lot of fun. I mean, everything's growing inside Wisnowski Coaching, the team, the collaborations, did an ebook in Brazil. So it's been a lot of fun. And with relationship wise, I just wanted somebody I could love and have a lot of fun with, Life can be extremely difficult sometimes, right? So I just wanted somebody that could be with me and support me and vice versa, right? Like I said, I did leave a relationship of 10 years and I wouldn't, trade that for anything. It was a great experience and great memories were built. And I'll be completely honest, I loved and cherished that relationship a lot. And leaving that relationship was incredibly hard, but do I regret it? No. Was I excited to build a better relationship in the future? Absolutely. I mean, that's what me and Sanda are doing and have been doing. As you can see, our names on the bottom, we're married. We got married last year. Um, Not to say that we don't have our challenges, right? So maybe we'll get into that. But yeah, I think our relationship's been really good. Over the past 5 years, we haven't had any like crazy fights whatsoever. And that's not saying that to project any sense of false reality to you guys, but that's the truth, right? We don't let fights get out of hand. We like to solve them right away, solve the problem that's happening, and move on and enjoy our day. Try not to carry on those, shitty moods and shitty feelings for too long. We all have our days nonetheless, but let's round it up. Next question. This one is pretty easy. What made you fall in love with me? Probably my beautiful smile, but let's hear your answer.
Yeah, your good looks. That's it. Next, no, I'm just kidding. There's a lot more to you than meets the eye. Farron's really, really funny. He's always quick. Like, he's very quick-witted. He's intelligent. He's ran his own business before. He's really good problem solver and he makes me laugh. But I think that the number one thing that made me fall in love with you is probably just the fact that I trusted you. Like, I never doubted you for a second, ever. Like, you have those relationships where you think, like, oh, does this person actually want to be with me? Like, are they lying behind my back? Like, what are they doing at night? Like, those things that happen when you're early in a relationship, those red flags. I never had any of those with Farron. So I've trusted him from the start. So that was probably the number one thing. But obviously, just getting to know you and your personality, you make me laugh all the time. So how could I not fall in love with you?
Yeah, I would just say pretty much this. Well, I can't say the same things, but I fell in love with Sanda because she's an absolute 10 out of 10 dime piece. No, she's a really good cook. She has a lot of values that I, support and cherish. She appreciates, kind of staying home and just keeping the house, run, and she takes care of me, and she's absolutely amazing. She's so supportive, she's so caring, she always has my back, I probably first fell in love with her when she came to my first bodybuilding show. It was a lot of fun. It was really fun, actually. It was a really good competition, really good prep and everything. I got super fucking sick. I got super bad food poisoning after the show. Yeah, we were literally just meeting, and she was there. She supported me. She put up with my bullshit. That's when I knew. I was like, yeah, this is the one. Okay, what did you need most in a relationship when we met that you weren't getting before?
Honesty and trust. I've had so many people lie to me before that, like, as soon as I can spot a lie from a mile away now, because I'm so used to it. Like before I met you. Yeah, that's what I needed, honesty.
What did I need most in a relationship? Yeah, just somebody who supported me wholeheartedly, was always there for me, always had my back, didn't question me, and Santa was that. So, yeah, what part of you was the hardest to open up and lie? That's kind of a sus question, but
Yeah, I actually have trouble answering that question because I haven't really had trouble opening up. Like the way it's worded, what part of you was hardest? I mean, I can tell you what part is still right now, and that's like basically anytime I'm going through a tough time, I find it hard to open up to you. Like if I'm going through something,
Why do you find it hard to open up?
just if I'm going through something that is negative or not good in my life, I find it hard to open up to you because I don't want to bring you down with me, if that makes sense. So like sometimes I keep that in. I know it's not a good thing and I'm getting better at it, but yeah, I just like I don't want to make you upset or like bring that negativity into your life. So I'm sorry for crying. I didn't think I would cry. Podcast.
I would just say this, that yes, Anna does do this sometimes. And just recently, she had something pretty crazy happen at work, and she didn't tell me about it. And she did end up telling me a few weeks later, but I was pretty, upset that she didn't tell me, not because that she didn't tell me, just because that I wanted to support her in those situations. I think a lot of us can feel that way too, right? We don't want to open up to people because we don't want to drag them into our shit. But that's why we have people around us. That's why we have friends. That's why we have community. That's why we have partners, right? Because, a good friend, a good partner shouldn't necessarily judge you, but they should be there with you, listen to you, hear you, right? So, hopefully that's something we can work on in the future and just be open with each other, because even if you are going through something hard, we can go through it together and it'll be that much easier, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I'd say the hardest part for me to open up probably. Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't like to, I think a lot of men are probably this way, but I don't like to, open up about my emotions too much. I kind of just push them to the side and carry on. But, I think as times are changing, as kind of the world grows, us as men, us and as individuals are kind of realizing that, there's nothing hard in being, that type of way, right? So it only is gonna like harbor weakness within, right? So the best thing to do is just face those feelings and share with people, right? Because that's why these people are here, right? So, and if any of you have anything, you ever want to share with me, feel free to reach out, hit me up. I'm always there. I'm always here to chat. No judgment, never, right? What's one thing I did early on that made you trust me more? Probably I could think of one thing, and that's putting up with Ziggy, because Sam has a cat and his name is Ziggy. And if any of you have met Ziggy, which probably most of you have not, he does not favor women. And when I first met him, he was only about 1 year old. And this little gremlin was rescued from the streets of Surrey. He was found in a box behind McDonald's. So I think he carries a little bit of that hard street science. So when I first walked in the house, he's a little frisky and he didn't necessarily like me. It took some winning over. It took, a good year. But now you probably see pictures on Instagram and he's all cuddling me and shit. He loves me. He doesn't like women though, so you know, no, if you're coming over here, and you're a girl, you might want to cut your hair or something. I don't know why he's like that, but anyways, I'll let Santa answer.
If you're coming by here, if you're coming around our house, wear a bald cap. I guess like one thing you did early on that made me trust you more was just you were always honest, and like I don't think it was just one moment or one thing that you did. You were just like honest over time. You didn't really lie about anything, and then that just kind of built trust over time.
Yeah, I would say I never didn't trust you, so that's pretty easy. Santa's a pretty cool Santa's a pretty cool lady if you've ever gotten to meet her. She's very respectful, like I've said many times, very caring. So yeah, that was never a feeling that ever crossed my mind. And to be honest, I probably give most people the benefit of the doubt, and maybe that's something I'm growing on, and that's just trusting everyone a little too much. Maybe I give people too much my time. Maybe I give people too much my trust, but learning that doesn't always pay off necessarily, right? So maybe, should have a little bit of skepticism when I trust people. But Sanda, no, I've never felt that way about her. What do you think is the biggest reason we've worked for 5 years?
I mean, there's been a lot of reasons. I would just say the biggest reason, like what everything comes down to, is understanding one another. And that's a tough thing to do. Sometimes, if you're in an argument with someone, you don't understand each other no matter how much back and forth there is. And at that point, you just kind of have to like put your own ego down and just kind of like accept it for what it is, revisit that maybe at a time where both parties are more calm. If it's really that important to you, like sometimes we'll have an argument and like maybe some things that were said that we didn't really mean, and that was kind of like left unsolved. Like we can come back when we're more calm and actually talk about it and say, "Hey, like I get where you're coming from. I said these things because I was feeling this way." And then we kind of have that back and forth where we solve our problems and our arguments as opposed to just like going at it with each other, because I think both of us don't like conflict. Am I wrong? Am I right?
No, yeah, I agree. I'm the same way. I mean, I've had a lot of conflict all my life growing up, family, relationships, so on and so forth. But yeah, I've kind of come to some conclusions in dealing with arguments, and if someone's very argumentative, they're very emotional. Usually, I don't even entertain conversation at the time because a person needs to be in a space where they can actually talk and not talk strictly through emotion, right? So, rule number two I kind of have with arguments is there should be no arguing. There should be, there can be a debate, but it needs to be open questions with responsive answers. And that's not yelling, that's not swearing, and definitely not name calling. Name calling, I think, is absolutely one of the worst things you could do in a relationship. And once you start, it's only going to get worse. So, just keeping the argument, just not heated, and yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've both done those things. Like we're not angels here. Like both of us have called each other names. Both of us has done those things. But I think just apologizing and, moving forward, not holding that grudge. And just when you're apologizing, like showing that person moving forward, you don't do it again. Like you make a mistake, everyone makes mistakes, and you just let go. The other person needs to forgive because that's not gonna work the other person doesn't forgive, and you just keep moving forward. And you just at the end of the day, you just have to remember you both love each other, right? So what is the point of having this conflict?
Yeah, and I think it's pretty simple for me. Like if it's a relationship that you care about, you wholeheartedly care about. I mean, these fucking stupid nuance arguments or problems that happen in your day-to-day life or stress that occurs, like they're negligible. Like we all have our mistakes, we all have our moments, and just fucking own it and move on, right? Like tomorrow's a new day. You love that person, fucking sweep it off and move on, right? Like, all right, well, that pretty much answers it for me. Let's get into the more fun ones here. Got a few more questions. What's a moment we laughed so hard together you'll never forget? I have a funny one.
I I can't. I can't.
Okay, well, I know what she's gonna say because it's fucking disgusting and it's disturbing. But so when we were in Mexico on our honeymoon, we were just laying on the couch, chilling, watching the movie. Viewer discretion is advised. Be warned. If you have a weak stomach, you might want to just fast forward a minute. But I was just laying on the couch and I had a heater on my cheek. I think maybe, yeah, it must have been like right here or something. And Santa was sitting like on the couch right there. We were watching a movie and I was just like, I felt this pimple on my face and I just popped it. And this thing fucking, it was like a volcano. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And it just Kill Bill like splattered like blood all across Santa. Oh, I just look over her face is just covered in speckles of blood all up the wall, all over the couch. It was absolutely disturbing. But thankfully we both just laughed like incredibly hard. It was incredibly funny. Santa didn't punch me out, thankfully, but yeah, it was funny. Was that what you were gonna say?
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in my life. I thought someone been murdered.
Yeah, it was pretty disturbing. Okay, so next one. What's one small thing I do that instantly makes your days better?
You do lots of things every day, but I would say every time I see you cuddling with the kitties, playing with the cats, like just holding Ziggy, it just melts my heart. It makes my day better.
I would probably say, as much as you think I dislike them, I do like a nice hug, even when it seems like I'm pissed off and stuff. I do like a nice hug. And obviously, any bodybuilder would appreciate a wife that cooks and prepares all his meals. So that's something that makes my day better every day. What's one small thing? Oh, we already got that one. What's a challenge we faced that made us stronger, and what did it teach you about us? Okay, I'll let you answer that.
No, you answer first. I want to see what if you're going to say the same thing I'm thinking of. Or I can answer. What?
Okay, probably. I'm just gonna own it. I'm owning it, but I would say this is probably the most childish I've acted, and I was in a rush getting off the plane at the airport one time, and Sandra was not having it, and I like was ahead of her and stuff. Yeah, she was super upset about things. I was pretty rude, and we ended up getting a big fight at customs. And it was like 1 in the morning. And I can't remember if that's the time I got pulled into customs for throwing away the wrong paperwork. But yeah, so anyways, we got in a big fight. I noticed she was upset when we were at the customs spot, so I asked her what's wrong, and she said she was leaving me and she wasn't going to be with me anymore. And this is when we were just coming back from California. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then, yeah, I can't remember really exactly what happened, but this was, like 4 years ago. But we kind of chatted it out. We kind of made amends because we were at the Vancouver and YVR and we both were living out in Langley. We're kind of just like, well, okay, well, we got to get home together. So luckily enough, my good friend drove us home too at like 2 in the morning, and I threw away the stupid like paper that they give you. It was my first time through customs. I was like 27 years old, first time ever traveling. They give you that little piece of paper, and I just threw it in the garbage. And then you go through the next checkout as you leave the airport, and they're like, "Where's the piece of paper?" And I'm like, "I threw it in the garbage." And they're like, "Oh, you have to go into secondary." And then they like unpackaged all our stuff and questioned us. And I'm just like, whatever. So that is probably the biggest things that ever challenged us. But I learned a lot from that. Like, don't be a dickhead. Acting like that doesn't fucking get you anywhere. I mean, we're all in the same place, going the same place. Like, we're all just trying to get out of here. I mean, that's a bad attitude to have. And I'll be honest, it's fucking stupid for me to act that way. And I've grown a lot since then. Thankfully, I'd like to think so. And hopefully, Santa agrees. But, anyways, I'll let her answer her side of the story. Hopefully, I don't get too embarrassed. But
I was just going to say you're being very hard on yourself for this. Like I didn't think it was that bad to be honest. Like I still that's what I was going to say that's what I was gonna pick was that situation. But I think you're being very hard on yourself there. But because I had a part in that too, because Farron's never traveled before, and I've probably been on like 30 plane rides, like back and forth from Romania, my home country. Like I've traveled more than Farron has, and he's never even been on a plane before. Or maybe you have, like, going to Saskatchewan, I don't know. But like I kind of expected him to know all this stuff, and I didn't even think that, like, he didn't know that you can't just get up off the plane and leave. He didn't know these things, right? And I'm just like out here expecting him to like be on his best behavior and know how everything works. And then I'm out here like getting angry at him because, like, we're both suddenly stressed out now because we don't have this paperwork, and like I'm stressed out, he's stressed out, so like we're taking it out on each other. And yeah, like I think we just learned that, like, to be more patient with each other and just to be more patient in general, because I know that you sometimes get worked up about things if it's not like going very smoothly. And I'm more of a, like, laid back person, which, not to say that's a good thing. Sometimes that's not a good thing, because then situations can get out of hand and I'm just, like, too laid back. But I think we found, like, in that situation, we kind of found a balance, and honestly, by the time we got home that night, like, we were back to normal. We just kinda laughed it off, I think, and, like, it's not that serious. We just both have to be patient in those kind of situations, and we both have to learn how, like, we didn't know each other that well back then, you know? Like, I don't think it was even a year into our relationship, so now we would have handled that so much differently now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I guess I'm just hard on myself because, when somebody tells you that they're gonna leave you and you love them, then you're just like, "Oh, well, I better check myself before I wreck myself," that kind of thing. But so no, this happened to us another time in Mexico. Sandra got a little upset, and I think we might have had one or two drinks. We don't ever drink, mind you. Sandra's a very lightweight, but she got a little upset. We were in Tulum as our first trip to Mexico, and she just like walks off this like dark frickin' street in the hood, and I'm just like, "What are you doing?" And then she's a little upset, and we just sat down and chatted it out, and we were good. So let's get into the fun bodybuilding questions. What's the best part and hardest part of being with someone who competes? I mean, I don't compete regularly, but I've competed twice. I more or less just treat bodybuilding as like a lifestyle, being that like I treat it like an IFBB pro. I am not an IFBB pro, but I treat it as such. I mean, I just live that religious monk bodybuilding style lifestyle. I mean, I eat, live, and breathe it. So it's what I do. So I guess we could answer it like that.
I don't think it's really hard at all. Like, I think, like, you're asking me what's the hardest part about you bodybuilding?
Yeah, just being with someone who competes.
I don't wouldn't say it's hard at all. I wouldn't say it's been hard at all. You're pretty much the same person while you're competing that you are when you aren't competing. Like, when you're happy not on prep, you're the same as when you're happy in prep. When you're angry not on prep, when you're sad not on prep, you're the same. Like, you act the same. Like, I wouldn't say it's been hard.
Yeah, I'd say I mean, Sandra has competed once, but she lives the fitness lifestyle, and that's one of the reasons I, again, fell in love with her because she very much appreciates bodybuilding and, has a mindset and is in line with the sport. So it's not difficult being in a relationship with Sandra at all. I'll be fully transparent. I do use anabolics and things like that, peptides, things like that. So she doesn't judge me. She supports me. She helps me with those things. She also works at Life Labs. She's a blood technician, so I'm so lucky to get my blood work done at home and things like that. So yeah, it's very supportive, very easy. And yeah, when she prepped, I mean, it's just like clockwork. It's just another day, as she said. So when we prepped and competed together, what did it reveal about us? I'll answer this first quickly, but I think it just revealed to us that we can really get through anything together. I mean, a prep is fucking hard. Anyone who's done it will agree, especially when you're getting to low levels of body fat. Sandra also broke her toe during this. So, yeah, it showed me that she is committed and willing to persevere through challenges. And yeah, what more of a great trait to have in a partner.
Yeah, and to add to that, I would just say it showed us that we can work as a team. Because I remember when I broke my toe, I was off work for a while. And obviously, in the early days, I needed help. Like, I couldn't walk around. So, Farron was bringing me my food. He brought my food to the hospital when I was getting treatment for that. And then when I could like start walking and get better, I was feeling better. I was at home, so I was able to prep all the food and everything, just make sure everything was in order. So, yeah, we just worked really well as a team in that. Like, whenever the other person needed something, we were there for each other.
Yes, light work. Okay, so next one, has bodybuilding or ambition ever made you feel second place? No, I don't think so. I would say no, not by any means. I mean, Santa doesn't pursue the sport that committed, and I don't think I would ever feel that way anyway, even if she was, focused on her business or whatever. Like, she can do whatever she wants and whatever she loves. I'm going to support her on that. Sure, it's going to take time. Any pursuit or ambition is going to take time away from our relationship, but if it makes her happy or that's what she wants to do, she can absolutely do it. I mean, right now she's fell in love with streaming. She's streaming, a few hours every day, ripping up Warzone, absolutely killing it, making lots of clips and stuff. So I'll be honest, it was hard at first. I mean, to kind of lose that time together, but if that's what she likes doing, I mean, run it up, have fun, right? Like, that's what life's about, doing what you want to do, have fun doing it, and your partner should support you, right? So I mean, as long as it's not like counterproductive to your health or longevity or anything like that.
Yeah, I would say the same thing here. Farron's ambition for bodybuilding and growing his business never really hurt the relationship at all because I knew it's very important to him. Bodybuilding is important to him. It's also important to me too. Like, like I said, I don't compete anymore, but we still go to the gym together. It's important for me to be healthy. I do feel it as like if I'm declining, I do feel that I feel different. I don't feel as energetic. I know how important that is to him. And same with his business too. If he's spending a lot of time on his business, that doesn't, I would say like some people might get jealous of that they're losing that time, but I haven't really felt that way. I don't know if it's because I'm just a naturally independent person and like I kind of like having some time to do my own thing and having like I kind of like letting him have time to do his own thing if that makes sense because then we kind of come together at the end of the day and I don't know if it's that or because I know the time that he's putting in is working on building a better future for us, bringing it's his dream, right? Bodybuilding has been his dream for a really long time. And now that he gets to be an online coach, why would I feel bad about that? Like, why would that hurt the relationship? And then another thing that you had mentioned was how it was hard at first when I started streaming and like you felt like it lost some of our time together. But to be honest, I kind of disagree with you there because we spend a lot of time together. I feel like we actually gained more time together ever since you started working from home.
Yeah, no, I agree absolutely, and I play Warzone sometimes too, so it's probably just I'm just being honest with how about my feelings, right? So maybe it was just I just felt a little type of way, maybe I was a little jealous or something, but at the end of the day, I realized that's what Santa likes to do, and yeah, we do spend a lot of time together. We essentially do everything together, so yeah, run it up, have fun, right? So there's no reason to feel that way. Let's do this question. When we're at our best, what are we doing consistently as a couple?
Communicating with each other, supporting one another, listening to each other. I find that when if we're not at our best, we don't really have the energy or the capacity to be there for each other 100% fully. Like if one of us is going through something, it's just like when you're in a threatening situation, for example, you're thinking on how to survive and how to deal with your situation. You're not like 100% present for all the people around you. So I would say, oh, sorry, I kind of lost track of that question, but I'm pretty sure I answered the question the first time.
Yeah, I would say that too. Talking, communicating, open, laughing, having fun, doing things, adventure. Adventure always, opens the mind, opens the heart. I think that's a good tip too for anybody, if you're feeling stuck in your relationship, just get out there, go do something. Go on a date, go on a little walk, go for a coffee together, you know, break the routine up a little bit, have some fun, enjoy the spice of life, go grab some edibles, go have a margarita, go grab some tacos, whatever you like to do. Maybe microdose a little mushrooms, watch some Stranger Things, just have some fun, right? So, not saying we do any of that, but, we like to have a good time here and there too. So, Mexico and California aside, I mean, those are our two main adventure spots so far. We like to travel more this year, but what's your favorite memory of us and what do you want our next 5 years to feel like?
I think my favorite memory is probably the day that we competed together, mostly because I never thought I would get to that point, and, like, the fact that I also wasn't doing it alone. You were there, and your mom was there to support us. Chris Denny, our good friend, was competing with us. Like, I never thought that I would actually do that, so that was a really fun memory and just, like, everything leading up to it. We've just had a lot of fun times and adventures throughout the years. All the little small moments that we have, like the moments that we're giggling and laughing together, whether it's at home or like on coffee dates. Don't get me wrong, I do love traveling with you and stuff, and sure, I remember, going to Mexico, going to California, all these travels I remember, but I just enjoy all the simple everyday moments because you can't always just go travel somewhere to have a good time, So I just cherish all the little moments with you.
Yeah, I would say my favorite memory of us together, probably just getting married and our, honeymoon in Mexico. I think that was a lot of fun. I never thought, I'll be completely honest with everybody here, I never thought I'd be one to get married or get married any day, but, you know, pretty easy when you are super stoked on somebody and they're a lot of fun. So yeah, Mexico was super fun. We went in the off season, so it was a little rainy, but we always have a good time. Had lots of aqua fresca, lots of barilla. I mean, it was a good time. Went to the gyms there and yeah, it was just chilling, We don't do anything crazy when we went away. We just kind of took it easy. We hung out lots, watched lots of movies, chilled in the pool. So those are some good memories of mine. And I'll answer the last part of that question. You can answer it after. But what do you want our next 5 years to feel like? I would say I want our next 5 years to feel like fucking amazing. Like, why wouldn't I want it to feel anything but that? And I plan on it happening. You know, life's about progressing physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. So just going to continue to do all those things. I think growth has been like exponential since like the third quarter last year when I left my job and everything's just been progressing. So as I mentioned here again, we're dropping this first podcast episode. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So gonna have a bunch of fun guests coming up. Got a bunch of guys from the States, a bunch of guys from ECA, a few local coaches, a few IFBB pros coming on. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Continue to grow the coaching business, continue to grow our family, hopefully travel more, go to Romania, spend some time in Europe and yeah, just have a good time, live life. And that's what life's all about, right? Making memories, having fun, enjoying the time that we have here. So that's what I hope the next 5 years feels like for us. Just fun, love, laughter, and good times.
Yeah, you basically said it all there. More money, less problems. And one thing that I would think would be amazing if we could travel to Romania together, my home country. Um, that I feel like that would be so much fun, and travel to Europe with you. Just have all these amazing memories of us from traveling the past, and I think it would be really fun just to go somewhere that we've never been before and not have to worry about things, not having to worry about money or like getting time off work to travel. So I think that would be an amazing thing to see in the next 5 years, is just like more freedom, more fun times. Hopefully you getting to experience my home country and like see where I came from, and yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Cool. Yeah. So I agree. Totally stoked for the future. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. There's good list of questions there that we went over. So got a couple tears out of Sanda. Got a little emotional there. Maybe some good advice, maybe not. But either way, you guys got to hear a little bit about our life, our relationship, what that looks like on the inside. So either way, I appreciate everybody checking out the podcast. There'll be lots coming in the future. Thank you, Sanda, for coming on today. Absolutely amazing to have you as my first guest. A little trial podcast, but I think it's been good. I think it's been really good. So,
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I've had a lot of fun. I didn't know you're going to ask all these questions ahead of time, so that was kind of fun, just going with it and not having anything prepared. Super fun. Thank you for having me.
yeah, now we're just going to enjoy the rest of the day here. I'm going to go train at Vitality in Burnaby a little later today with Max, the owner of Supplement World Port Coquitlam. Make sure you pop by Supplement World if you're in Canada. If you're in the Lower Mainland area, pop by Supplement World Port Coquitlam or Supplement World North Vancouver. I think they even have one opening up in the Kits area here in the near coming future, but absolutely amazing stores, carry amazing products. Max is an absolute class gentleman, and he runs Supplement World Port Coquitlam, so go check that out. And yeah, we're gonna go train some legs at Vitality with the main man this afternoon, and I think we're gonna roll down to Vancouver after and hit up AJ's Brooklyn Pizzeria. So been wanting to check that out for some time here, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm super stoked to have y'all. If you made it this far, very much appreciate you. Um, Toss the podcast a follow, subscribe to the show. Lots coming out in the future, and I look forward to chatting with y'all soon. So much love within the rep. First podcast. Have a good day, y'all.